Prime Minister Chief Dr. Joseph John Gute in Boya, chief town of the conflicted southwest region of Cameroon. Prime Minister Dr. Joseph John Gute will tomorrow, Wednesday, be presiding at an important meeting within the framework of the implementation of the resolutions of the major national dialogue in Cameroon. The visit of the Prime Minister to Boya comes at a time where in the streets of Boya, inhabitants of the southwest regional chieftain think that nothing has been done or nothing has changed for the better since the holding of the major national dialogue in Cameroon. The visit is also coming in a context characterized by an upsurge in attacks directed towards the defense and security forces in Cameroon. The spokesperson of the Defense and Security Forces of Cameroon, Colonel Cyril Atomfak, says that the Cameroonian army suffered an attack that saw about 15 elements killed in the Ngoki-Tunja of the northwest region of Cameroon. Also, in the course of this newscast, we shall have a guest who will be giving you some hidden facts and causes of the situation that has seen several hundreds of lives lost in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon, hundreds of thousands of persons displaced within and out of the country Cameroon. These stories and more will be yours in this edition of the news. Stay with us. Show the major story of the day is the visit of the Prime Minister to the conflicted southwest region of Cameroon. But coming back to that, time for us to begin with a human interest story to talk about custom officials of Halkome Zone 3 in the northern regions of Cameroon who have intercepted a huge quantity of illegally imported goods to Cameroon. The custom officials say that the goods were being smuggled into the Cameroonian territory from the neighboring Federal Republic of Nigeria. Simat Njikan Gabriel tells us more in the following report.
Then 400 bags of sugar, 300 bags of cement and several pallets of sweet drinks were seized by custom officials in Marua. The seizure of these contraband goods comes at a time that custom officials in Grand North continue to wage war against those doing illegal business by transporting contraband products into the country. GICAM recently published a report stating that Cameroon loses more than 150 billion francs per year as a result of illegal transportation of goods into the country. Days before this seizure, elements of Halkome 3 seized 2 bags containing marijuana in Magada, 96 bags of sugar, 275 pallets of sweet drinks, 50 kilograms of non-biodegradable plastic, and 50 kilograms of vegetable oil at Amchide and Kolofata. People should know that things like sugar and cement must have an authorization before they get into the country. They have been prohibited and one can't get up in the morning and start importing them. Custom officials say the fight to keep away the importation of contraband goods into the country will continue.
And the crackdown on those involved in illegal businesses and those of the underworld, especially drug traffickers, continues across the National Triangle. Some elements of the National Gendarmerie have also intercepted some drug traffickers, as Malak Glory tells us in the following report.
More than 12 suspected drug traffickers of cannabis and cocaine were intercepted by the police officials in the Douala 3 subdivision following an operation launched by the 8th Police District. This was thanks to information from an individual that the regional delegate of national security of the littoral region mobilizes elements who immediately carried out actions on the field.
The first place is Oyak and Saint-Soleil. And another place is Brazzaville near Lycée Nilon, near Lycée Nilon, Brazzaville. There is the two places we are doing the...
A successful operation which permitted the commission of the 8th Police District and his collaboration to arrest huge quantities of about 5 bags of cannabis and 52 packets of cocaine.
Cannabis is around 5 bags of cannabis and of 100 kilogram, and we have also cocaine, about 52 packets of 1 kilo.
The culprits are in police detention. Meanwhile, the security officials warn the youth against this illegal activity as measures are being put in place against any security threats. The population is therefore called upon to be watchful.
And with activities of the underworld, illegal businesses flourishing across the National Triangle, the balance trade of Cameroon is also being affected, according to information released by the National Institute of Statistics. Cameroon has recorded a trade deficit of about 7.5%, which according to them is disturbing and deepening compared to the first quarter of last year. Charles Abane tells us more in the following report.
According to the report of the National Institute of Statistics in Cameroon, the importation expenses of the first semester sums up to 1,824 billion francs CFA for 5.7 million tons of merchandise. The country has also registered a hike of 5.4% in value added and 17.8% in quantity of products as compared to the first semester of the year 2020. Following the last report from the institute, it so happens that Cameroon spends billions of francs CFA to import goods which are still produced in the country, such as rice, wheat, cereals and fish, which cost approximately 412 billion francs CFA when imported. The National Institute of Statistics also adds other products such as livestock, vegetables and fruits. This other group is said to have cost more than 200 billion francs CFA between January and June 2021. A trade balance which continues to deepen and shows worrying signs based on the implementation of policies governing import and export in Cameroon, which needs to be balanced for a stable economy. This is the point of view of economists who support that the state should finance and support local production, considering the fact that the country has a lot of land and natural resources, which equally places the country on an advantaged position. Are we still to import products such as rice, wheat and cereals? Is the question which economic stakeholders in the country keep on asking. It will then be judicious to put in place efficient policies for the reduction of importation. According to the report of the National Institute of Statistics, in the first semester, the deficit of trade balance has further deepened from 52 billion francs CFA, which has recorded a hike of 7.5% as opposed to the first semester of the year 2020.
And years after the putting in place of the Bakassi Area Development Program, several developmental projects are yet to be fully realized across the Bakassi Peninsula of the Indian division of the conflicted southwest region of Cameroon. However, some areas saw the electrification projects realized, while others continue to ask the government and officials charged with the implementation of the developmental projects within the peninsula to hasten up. They say that these are some of the causes that have contributed to the situation faced by the northwest and southwest English-speaking regions of Cameroon today. Derek Jato takes us to the few fortunate parts of the peninsula.
Bakassi Peninsula. This is how to walk around in most of the villages. We are at Barracks, the commercial hub of Kombo 18D subdivision. And the story is the same.
It's not really easy that way, for instance, the road is not that good. The passage to come to the school is not really the best.
Their thatched houses are suspended. Though it is an island, but the sea is threatening to take over. And this, my friend, is giving me some practical lessons on how to move from one neighborhood to another. He makes it look easy, but it is still very challenging for me. But at night, this walkway is a trap, even to this my experienced friend. There are stories of people who came out at night, especially during high tide, and because of the darkness, slipped over and swallowed by the water below, and they disappeared till date. And the Cameroon government, through its implementing body on the ground, the Bakassi Peninsula Development Program, BADEP, in order to redress the situation, successfully carried out an electrification project in Bamuso and Barracks. And today, BADEP coordinator is handing over the keys to the beneficiaries through their mayors and divisional officers.
We are very appreciative to government for what is presently going on, because
with the streets and beaches now illuminated, students and pupils in this area say they don't use bush lamps anymore to study, but every night they go out to read.
They help us to read
and the authorities here say the realization of this electrification project is stabilizing security in these zones.
Because when there is light, darkness will disappear and it will scare those hoodlums that hide from light.
And have promised that utility committees will be set up to better manage the running of the project.
We are going to set a committee that will be in charge for running the lights.
The construction of public toilets, boreholes and walkways, just to name but these, are some of the projects ongoing in Bakassi by BADEP.
And those are images of Bakassi, a locality in the southwest region wherein the Prime Minister, Chief Dr. Joseph John Gutte, is expected to talk of reconstruction. Of course, reconstruction is part of the resolutions of the major national dialogue. And we told you that in the streets of Boya, people believe that nothing has changed for the better 2 years after the holding of the major national dialogue. They were speaking even at the time when the Prime Minister made his way into the southwest regional chief town. They continue to outline other challenges that have all contributed to worsen the security and socio-cultural situations of the northwest and southwest regions of the country. We are going to be giving you the reports of the visit of the Prime Minister in this edition of the news, and of course the reactions of people in the streets of Boya. But let's talk about another problem still within the region, that of the Cameroon Development Corporation, one of the major agro enterprises in the two English-speaking regions of Cameroon that have suffered the hardest effects of the armed conflict rocking the regions. The CDC also has other problems. Recently, some inhabitants of some villages within Tiko subdivision took to the streets accusing the CDC of having confiscated their lands. But the CDC, in a reaction to our Limbe-based correspondent Davidson Mamo, says that those accusations are baseless. His report.
Cameroon Development Corporation, the CDC, has qualified the protest of some villages in Tiko subdivision and satellite villages from Boya recently at the Southwest Governor's office, accusing the CDC of refusing to hands off CDC land given to these villages as a staged protest, saying the parcel of land in question has never been surrendered to any village.
The community that was requesting for the land went and selected an area without the consent of CDC. There were 3 parcels, all totaling 77 hectares. The minister did not approve. Minister's letter is very clear. The area has not been surrendered. We have not even received the file.
CDC equally dismissed allegations from the protesters that the corporation is carrying area spraying of its banana plantation on habitat areas.
People are making assertion, hypothesis, because the corporation has put a 500-meter zone, a buffer zone, which is to separate, disintegrate the community and the plantation, because the plane is passing and there are possible drifts. But if today that same buffer zone, the community is trying to construct, they are the people bringing themselves closer to the application area.
Despite an injunction, some villages are going as far as planting pillars within the plantation itself.
But because of the chaotic situation, it's like people are taking laws into their hands and just encroaching into the place. The traditional council encroaching into this place is just a gloss
It's glossing the administrative arm of some persons in the administration that are trying to push them to encroach.
Some of the jobless banana workers caused by the ongoing Anglophone armed conflict waiting to be called say some of the chiefs are selfish and careless of the thousands of unemployed Cameroonians.
We are only praying that if management can try a way to bring us to occupy that area, that the chiefs are there for their personal interests, that will push the chief aside.
All these backward chiefs, they don't take land and sell them. When a banana land,
you feel very, very bad for say an individual maybe aware say this land, they employ 1,001 people, they don't want to take the land away. He not he employ those workers the way this if he employ them. Workers if he fight those people then if the work starts.
With the ongoing replanting to recall the thousands of banana workers on technical leave for over 2 years, CDC warned those who have bought land or are constructing within these areas shall have themselves to blame.
Let's review the context in which the Prime Minister, head of government, occupant of the Star Building, is visiting one of the Anglophone regions that has been into an armed conflict for 4 years now. It is the context where the spokesperson of the Cameroonian Ministry of Defense, Colonel Cyril Serge Atomfak, says that armed separatist fighters have acquired sophisticated weapons thanks to their collaboration with external forces. The colonel was speaking in a release yesterday, a release that also confirmed the attack on a convoy of the defense and security forces in a locality in the Ngokitunja of the northwest region of Cameroon that saw the killing of at least 15 soldiers, according to the release. The release also went back to confirm a previous attack in Kikaikom, a village between Tatum and Kumbu, all of the Bui in the northwest region of Cameroon. It is that context, but Innocent, as in the following report, takes us back to visit the communique signed by Cyril Serge Atomfak, spokesperson of the Ministry of Defense in Cameroon.
In a September 20 press release signed by Captain Atomfak Gemose Cyril, head of the communication unit in the Ministry of Defense, the government acknowledges separatist fighters ambushed a convoy of the 6th Rapid Intervention Battalion on a reconnaissance mission in Bamesing in Dop, Ngokitunja Division, Northwest Region on September 16th. The state's enemies used an improvised explosive device and an anti-tank rocket launcher to immobilize 3 armored cars, killing and injuring many soldiers who were incapacitated by the detonation of the explosive charges. Coupled with the September 12 attack on the Kumbu-Tatum axis in the Bui Division, Captain Atomfak counts 15 soldiers and civilians killed, all together with many soldiers injured. The press release also reads, most of the separatist fighters operate across the Cameroon border, with them supplied sophisticated weapons by external forces, switching the dynamism of the armed conflict from the use of improvised explosive devices to RPGs, IEDs and RPGs, known to be supplied the separatist fighters by other terrorist entities operating outside the country's borders. Use of the sophisticated weapons to neutralize state forces, according to Captain Atomfak, is against international humanitarian law, while extending condolences to families of victims of the deadly attacks. The communication strongman in the Ministry of Defense makes it clear that, despite all, the Cameroonian army is determined to eradicate all forms of violence in the 2 English-speaking regions and also the far north region for restoration of peace and to guarantee the free movement of persons throughout the national territory.
And the story of the day is here, the visit of the owner-occupant of the Star Building. He was received first by traditional rulers of the southwest region across the Mungo as he enters into the region. His presence in Boya is ahead of an event tomorrow. Information says that he will at the National School of Local Development be chairing an important meeting within the context of the implementation of the resolutions of the major national dialogue in Cameroon. Though in Boya, inhabitants think that nothing has changed for the better since the holding of the major national dialogue. First, Derek Jato Jato takes us to the atmosphere that characterized his entry to the Southwest region.
At this, though divided, is the Cameroon Prime Minister and head of government granting audiences here. We have been met by the security forces to understand that it is heated in there. Discussions are ongoing. But as to what these stakeholders of the Southwest region will be telling, but we know vividly that many things that they will be telling the Cameroon Prime Minister will not be new to him. Chief Dr. Joseph John Gute is visiting the Southwest region at the time that a lot have been happening, negative, I must say. Of course, a delegation from Meme Division will certainly brief the Cameroon Prime Minister and head of government that the recent decision by the military tribunal in Boya that led to the sentence to death of 4 suspects that in relation to what is today known as the Kumba massacre has raised a lot of dust. Some say they should be pardoned, just like what happened to the security forces at Ngarbu, that they were never given a death sentence, and why these people are to be given a death sentence. Of course, the Cameroon Prime Minister and head of government visited the Southwest region at the time. That is clocked exactly 3 months when 6 divisional delegates working in Jan Division were abducted, and the separatist fighters claim responsibility. Until date, nobody knows their whereabouts. Well, it might be an opportunity for the population of the Southwest region, just like that of the Northwest region, maybe for the Cameroon Prime Minister to brief the public as to what has been the measures in order to search them back and bring them to their families. Well, it is quite going to be busy here for these 2 days, but remember that Chief Dr. Joseph John Gute is in the Southwest region to assess the effectiveness of the resolutions of the major national dialogue. Many say very little is happening, of course, but the Cameroon Prime Minister comes equally at the time that the construction to host the ex-separatist fighters is almost at the level of completion. He is coming at the time that the separatist fighters equally have multiplied their attacks. The Ngoki Tunja incident is still fresh in the minds of Cameroonians and the world at large. It was an incident that was widely condemned, but what will be the take-home message is still what we are yet to have from the Cameroon Prime Minister, because he is yet to make any public statement. But as of now, he will be here for 2 days, and tomorrow, the 22nd of September 2021, he is expected to have an enlarged meeting at Nasla. Of course, Nasla happens to be one of the fallout of the major national dialogue. Well, it is expected that the 2 days that the Cameroon Prime Minister will be here, that at the end of the 2 days, something positive should come out. People here in the Southwest region say they have heard a lot of talks, and it is time for action, for the positive change that everyone is yearning for should come. We are Amos Fongo, Derek Jato, Babila Jonathan, and Donna Chris Kamga on a special assignment here in Boya, signing out.
Derek Jato is part of a crack team of reporters and technicians of Equinoxe Radio and Television dispatched on a special assignment to Boya in the Southwest region of Cameroon. And you must have heard from Derek Jato that Babila Jonathan is also part of that team. Babila Jonathan took interest in the impressions and the understanding of the importance of the major national dialogue by people living in the Southwest regional chieftain Boya. He took his microphone to streets of Boya, but the people were giving shocked responses, saying that nothing has changed for the better since the holding of the major national dialogue. Babila Jonathan.
Life in Boya, Southwest region of Cameroon, is a mixture of the good, the bad, and the ugly. While places like Clark's Quarters, Great Sopo, Mile 17 and others are living, though at half-mast, some areas including Muya are deserted. The cost imposed by non-state armed groups is on the street and the market. Here, for instance, it is not a market day, but even on ordinary days, it is not as dead as a graveyard.
This is the market in Muya, and this place is often busy, but because of the Anglophone crisis, because of the lockdown imposed by non-state armed groups in the northwest and southwest regions, you can see that the place is deserted. Only some few people are around here, and it's the same thing for the shops that are along this road getting into the central part of the town of Boya. The shops are normally open on weekdays, but today the whole place is deserted. The shops are closed. This is because of the insecurity reigning here. And this is the picture of many parts of the town of Buea.
Some are angry over the closure of shops by the mayor of Buea in the fight against Ghost Town. But the mayor, Mafani Namange David, says,
I understand them too. That's why we are working together. We are telling them that if every person is open, they will not target every person or any person. But if only a few are open, they will be easily targeted. So we are only begging and pleading with them. It's not a war with them, because without them we cannot be there.
To the mayor, thanks to the Ghost Town fight, Buea is alive and healthy.
You have seen the hustling and bustling in Buea, taxis, traffic jam, everything.
But the traditional ruler of Great Support, His Royal Majesty, Etina Monono, holds a contrary opinion.
The situation here is not good at all. I cannot tell you a lie. Being in Buea now is not the Buea that we used to know. Things are very hard. It is very bad. We hear stories all over. We hear around Bitingi area there and so on. The shooting and people are frightened. If you look around, today is a Tuesday. Most of the shops are closed, apart from Buea Central. Beyond Buea, after Moliko, nothing is working.
Many inhabitants who had hopes in the major national dialogue as a solution are yet to see concrete results 2 years after that event took place in the nation's capital, Yaoundé.
From the happenings around, I consider nothing has changed, because after the major national dialogue, I consider the situation has even worsened, like the massacre in Kumba, the recent kidnappings and other happenings in Bamenda. It shows that nothing has really taken place, like the dialogue has not really actually solved anything.
Well, as concerns the crisis, I don't think anything has changed, because the crisis is still ongoing. We are still in crisis. Presently we have lockdown in the northwest and southwest.
According to them, the right solutions are yet to come.
They have not actually met the people who matter, and they have not verified from the people to know their problem.
Things are not changing because those who are in the bushes are not yet satisfied. The right answer to the problem is bringing the crisis to an end.
And we ask them what else should be done at this point in time.
If you can meet some of the leaders who matter, you can talk. They can sit down and talk and see how to handle the situation to end the crisis.
Until you dialogue with the people concerned, I don't think that there will be a way forward.
Let the government take some swift action. Let government start talking to the leaders of those who are not happy. I call them those who are not happy. Let the elites talk to their children. It is us to let our children know that, yes, we have issues of governance, but it is not violence. It is not killing your neighbor.
Inhabitants of Buea and the rest of Anglophone Cameroon are looking up in hope to the day when guns will go down and aspirations upheld in peace.
Back with our guest who's had a critical look on the remote and immediate causes of what is happening in the two Anglophone regions in tomorrow's edition of the Primetime News on Equinoxe Television. Meantime, we thank you for your keen attention. We urge you to stay in the company of programs on Equinoxe.